Hello, everyone. At the outset, we wish you and your families all the health in this period of anxiety, and we trust that you all will be doing very well. We would want to take this opportunity to give you our perspective on the economy, the markets, as also our portfolio. We see this period as a period of opportunity in adversity. There is, of course, a lot of anxiety around coronavirus, but we anticipate that this anxiety will turn into opportunity going ahead. If you look at the markets are doing time travel with really the Nifty 500, Nifty 50 going back to 2016 levels, which is 4 years back. Nifty mid cap back to 2014 levels. Nifty small cap back to 2011 levels. In fact, this is the level of correction that the markets have seen over the last 2.5 years, the culmination of which was March of 2020. What this has done is that it has made valuations attractive. In the global financial crisis period, you had valuations of market cap to GDP, that ratio being at about 55%. And today, that number is at about 54%, while the average over the last 10 to 11 years has been about 76%. Essentially, we are today trading at levels close to the global financial crisis levels. The situation is no different for price to book multiples or price to earnings multiples. For instance, the top 1,000 market cap companies, of those, 43% today are trading under one time price to book. This number in 2008-9 used to be as high as 49%, which means that we are somewhere close to that number today. And if we go back in time and see periods of pandemic outbreak and how markets have behaved thereafter, it tells us a revealing story. SARS, which happened sometime in 2003, witnessed the markets going down by about 10%. And thereafter, the year after, it was up about 83% plus. Same for avian influenza, down 12%, up 50% thereafter. Ebola up 1%, thereafter 39%. Zika 13% down, 24% up for the year after. And so far for the coronavirus epidemic, the markets have seen about a 28-29% downside. What lies ahead is something that we'll have to wait and see. It is definitely, going by past track record of markets after such pandemics, it is a given that these are periods of temporary downside. And when these downsides go away, there is substantial upsides in the market. Unless one believes that we will not be able to get over this pandemic, this is a temporary phase of downside in the markets. Selling into this period is in fact crystallizing your notional losses and converting them into real losses, which in our judgment is not in one's own favor. So staying invested is in one's own favor. What happened around the global financial crisis? If we look at market price action around that time, 2008 markets were down peak to bottom by about 55%, and that impacted stocks across the board. But markets bottomed out on the 9th of March 2009. What happened thereafter is what is elucidated in this table. In a 3-month period from 9th March 2009, markets were up substantially. And if we look at the top 1,000 market cap companies, of those, as many as 471 were up 2 times, as many as 10 companies were up 4 times, and 1 company was up 5 times. If we take 1.5-year period from 9th March, in that period, as many as 806 companies were up 2 times, 565 by 3 times, 369 by 4 times, and 207 by 5 times. That's a substantial upside in a period of 1.5 years. On average, we saw about 3.2 times upside for stocks in the top 1,000 market cap companies 1.5 years later. History doesn't repeat itself exactly, but it does rhyme. Given the crisis that we are going through just now and the price correction that we have seen in the markets, when the reversal happens, I won't be surprised if we see something similar to what we are seeing, what we saw in the global financial crisis. and a wide variety of stocks rally meaningfully. The reason that is the case is because there is not a permanent diminution in their businesses. There is definitely a temporary impact which will exist for a 2 to 3 quarter period in their business activity. But these businesses will come out and they will come out stronger. As a result, markets will reflect that strength going forward. What do the greats say on this aspect of markets declining and our temperament accordingly? Irving Khan, who's a famous global investor and a very wealthy investor from his investments, says this. He says, you must have the discipline and the temperament to resist your impulses. Human beings have precisely the wrong instincts when it comes to the markets. If you recognize this, you can resist the urge to buy into a rally and sell into a decline. Essentially, what he's saying is that we follow the trend, that when the markets are rallying, we tend to buy in, and when markets are falling, we tend to sell. It is exactly the opposite that we should be doing, because following the trend is not in our own interest. In that context, buying into declines is something that will be in our interest because we are getting prices which are favorable. And as these prices move up in future, we will be benefiting from the up moves in prices. Hence, giving in to our urges to sell into declines is exactly what we should not be doing and which is not in our own interest. Why do we believe that prices, while they have gone down today, that they will reverse going forward? One of the key reasons is global stimulus. You will be surprised to know that just in the month of March, global central banks and governments have pumped in as much liquidity into the system as China's GDP. If you just look at the US Fed's balance sheet, which used to be at $800 billion in 2008-9, is today north of $6 trillion, which means in a 10 to 11 year period, they've added over $5 trillion to their balance sheet. Just in the period of 2019 and 20, from under $4 trillion, about $3.8 trillion, we are now at $6.3 trillion in terms of Fed's balance sheet. In a period of 6 to 7 months, they have added nearly $3 trillion to their balance sheet, which will mean that this money will actually come into financial assets and at some point support asset prices and allow them to not fall further. In fact, the trade, which is currently a risk-off trade, has all the likelihood of shifting to a risk-on trade because of this being because of so much liquidity coming into the market. The world, of course, is today looking for a cure for coronavirus. There is research which is happening on medication. There is research which is happening also on vaccines. If something on the cure comes about and either a vaccine or a drug is comes out which is positive for coronavirus treatment, then that will be taken as a big trigger, big risk-on trigger by the markets. Let's look at the domestic situation. We do believe that India is very favorably poised at this time. Why is that the case? Lower oil prices. For every dollar fall in oil, we save over $1 billion in our trade balance. With oil prices coming down from as high as $70 now to about $25 in a period of 3 to 4 months, India stands to gain immensely. Lower trade deficit with China. With China, we have about $50 billion to $55 billion of trade deficit. We anticipate because of this, there will be a lower trade deficit with China. RBI rate cut. RBI has brought in significant liquidity measures for support to the economy. Not only has it cut interest rates quite aggressively, it has also brought in liquidity through TLTRO mechanisms, which again will allow for credit flow into the economy. Government fiscal stimulus is also in the works. Now that will allow for spending to come back, for demand to pick up, and again, this will be a stimulus for the economic activity. Lower global interest rates and higher liquidity, which I have spoken of earlier. Supply chain disruption. Companies are looking to move out of China and to other geographies, India being one of those. Look at what Japan has done of late. They have kept a certain amount of capital, somewhere close to $2.2 billion, which will be used to compensate their companies to move out of China. Now, these companies will require facilities to manufacture. Where will they shift to? One of the countries which they may shift to is India. And so this supply chain disruption is actually going to benefit India in the long term. Finally, if we look at just the month of March, there has been as much as 1 lakh crore of capital which has flown out of India by FPIs taking their capital away, both from equity and debt. Now, this is because of the current uncertainty. As this uncertainty abates, as the lockdown comes down, we anticipate that this capital will be ready to come back into India. Add to that, there is higher liquidity in the global financial system because of various measures that central banks have taken. All of this bodes very well for potentially higher capital coming into the country. And these measures will, of course, be beneficial for the country. In summary, what do we think? We think that just because prices are down, to attribute weakness in business models because prices are down is not the right thing. If you just look at our portfolio, in our portfolio, we have negligible debt on the balance sheets of our companies, which will benefit our companies. We have a very healthy ROE structure for our companies. Growth in the recent past has been quite strong. We anticipated this growth to continue going forward. Now with the coronavirus speed breaker, we do anticipate that the strong growth will be pushed back by a little, but this growth will come back because these business models are highly robust and they will be able to get over any speed breaker that we are seeing today. All of these measures we anticipate, and all of these sort of characteristics of the portfolio we anticipate will lead to the portfolio bouncing back strongly once the risk of trade is behind us. Already in the period of September to February, we had seen that bounce. In the month of March, again, because of the market action, we have seen a speed breaker, but we are pretty confident that going forward, we and our portfolio will benefit because of the strength of our portfolio companies. What are the trends that we are seeing? We are seeing that companies with strong balance sheets and which have low debt are going to benefit going forward because businesses are going to trend towards them, their market shares are going to gain. Secondly, industry leaders will also benefit because they will have access to capital. Both these things are going to lead to greater polarization in the market. Strong companies will become stronger, the weaker companies will become weaker. By virtue of our philosophy, we already have nearly zero debt companies in our portfolio. And by and large, our portfolio companies are leaders in their spaces, respective spaces. Hence, our portfolio, we anticipate, will benefit from once we come out of this period of anxiety of coronavirus. What did we buy? We bought the telecom sector. We think not much demand impact is going to happen there. Insurance is something that we hold in our portfolio, and we anticipate that there will, of course, in the near term be an impact, but long term, insurance stands to benefit because of what is happening just now. Pharma sector, we believe, is going to be a beneficiary. To some extent, price action in pharma companies reflects that because these stocks have not fallen. In fact, they have risen from our purchase prices. Our existing consumer staples companies are also going to benefit. And we bought into a large chemicals manufacturer who's a contract manufacturer for many innovators globally. And this company is also going to benefit by virtue of supply chains moving from China to India. We do intend to utilize our cash between now and the next 2 to 4 months when we see some bout of additional volatility and we get favorable prices. We will deploy this cash. We will look to buy into value stocks and we will track data very closely to understand when the trend in coronavirus is changing. Our overall positioning is that we have about 10 to 15% cash in the portfolio, and our endeavor, as I mentioned, will be to deploy this cash in attractive valuations going forward. In summary, we do believe that this is a period of opportunity, And opportunity doesn't tell you that it has arrived. It can only be seen in hindsight, because when it arrives, it doesn't seem like an opportunity. Given that prices have gone down materially today, it seems like the recent past is going to get replicated in the future as well. But if all the actions that central banks are taking, as also if there is a cure for coronavirus which comes out, which we would lay a very high probability on, then this may just turn out to be the opportunity of a lifetime. We would suggest that this is a time to add to portfolios, even if it means that we add in tranches and we don't add in one go. This will definitely be a period of opportunity for this portfolio, because when the reversal and the revival happens, we will be reviving from lower price levels. The time to be greedy is when everyone is fearful. This is a time when everyone around us is fearful, as also our basic instinct tells us that we need to be fearful because there is risk aversion all around. But the time to be greedy is today. Because everyone is fearful, prices are attractive. These prices will not be attractive when everyone is carefree. That is our submission to you. We thank you for all your confidence and look forward for further such interactions with you in the future. Please stay safe and wish you all the health and luck. Thank you.